Welcome to Two Hypnotherapists Talking with me, Denise Mejia, in Delaware, USA.
And me, Martin Ferber, in Preston, UK.
This weekly podcast is for anyone and everyone who'd like to know more about the fascinating subject of hypnosis and the benefits it offers.
I'm a clinical hypnotherapist and psychotherapist.
I'm a retired medical doctor turned consulting hypnotist.
We are Two Hypnotherapists Talking.
So let's get on with the episode.
Yeah, let's get the show on the road. And Denise, we're recording today, the day before Valentine's Day, and this is going to go out on Sunday of Valentine's week, if we want to call it that.
When maybe some people will still have chocolate around.
Or wilting roses.
Yes.
I just thought, it just got me thinking, Valentine's, love, relationships, all that kind of thing. Where would hypnotherapy come into the equation with that?
For people that were made sad by the holiday. It's not really a holiday. I mean, you have to go to work. You can't do anything else. But it is, and if you don't have a partner, perhaps you're recently widowed or whatever caused this occasion, it can be a real underlining of
or
grief.
if you had a partner this time last year on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, exactly.
And now you don't.
And suddenly you don't. Right.
Maybe you've been ditched.
And this goes for all holidays, I think, because it's the same thing. You compare this Christmas, last Christmas, this New Year, last New Year. Mother's Day was a day that we got so many. The day after Mother's Day, we would have a flood of patients into the emergency room, not because necessarily they were terribly ill, but they would have little flare-ups, so they'd be more aware of it, because the day before people had come to see them and then they'd gone away again. And it just makes people more aware of the deficits in their life.
Them being on their own.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Let me just go for an immediate tangent. I'm forgetting you, emergency room doctor. Did the rooms used to go quiet if there was a sudden, unexpected, warm, hot day or something like that?
Yeah, and football, we would get quiet when they were playing. I mean, it's amazing how people would arrange their medical care.
Either side of the Super Bowl.
Sometimes, I mean, seriously, I started having chest pain in the first half, and I'm coming in after the game's over. I really, actually, not, they really were having a medical emergency and they put it off. But that is, it's grist for another mill. Back to those other kinds of holidays, those really do cause discomfort for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Mother's Day and Father's Day for people who have lost a child or lost a pregnancy. And it's all of those things. It's this almost feels like you're being stabbed by somebody.
Yeah, I mean, I can remember the first couple of years after my mum died, and you keep getting emails from various companies that you may have purchased something from before, florists or whatever.
Or Facebook reminders.
Facebook
of their birthdays.
Yeah, as well. That kind of thing used to knock me. No, I'm just thinking Valentine's Day. They just got me thinking, like, relationships, where hypnotherapy would come into the equation with helping people to deal with all kinds of relationship issues.
I've had a couple of people join me on the Zoom call, for being alone. It's not so much for that specific relationship. They're usually okay, that didn't work, but then they despair of having or being social again. You get a little less. You get rather, once you've been married 39 years now, so we have a very set number of social things we do, and when that stay goes away, it can be hard to figure out how you should be interacting with society.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's coping with the change, isn't it? It's getting used to getting yourself out there again. But also, I mean, if somebody's been in a relationship for a long time that perhaps had, as we say over here, chipped away at their personality. I'm not going full-blown coercive relationship or anything like that. But if somebody's had a relationship where their partner had, knocked away at their self-confidence somewhat, then it can be difficult to get going again, I suppose.
Yeah, but I think also, even if it's been a wonderful relationship, when you lose the other half of your I think that can be just because we present ourselves to different audiences in different ways.
Oh, absolutely.
And if suddenly half of the way you define yourself, I'm Francisco's wife, I mean, I don't really think of myself, that's not the first thing I am. The first thing I am is Denise. But some people are. And then how do who am I if I'm not?
Yeah, absolutely. So hypnotherapy could help with exploring your own mind and maybe reigniting some old neural pathways that you haven't been down for a while.
Certainly I've done quite a lot, partly because of COVID, with clients who come in because they just couldn't deal with going out in public again. They hadn't had to, or they had been prevented from for a good 18 months, really.
Absolutely.
They could do more than run to the shops.
When you've had clients like that, though, with COVID, were they mainly younger or older?
Most of my clients my client base skews older. I've had some younger ones, excuse me. But I think people see my hair and think, okay, she's my age, I'm going to talk to her.
No, I just think what still sort of resonates with me is the fact that somebody who is 18 now spent over 10% of their life in lockdown with COVID. I'm still seeing the effects of that in younger people that I see. Younger clients. For me, it seems to have affected them more than older people.
Well, it was a bigger percentage of their life.
Yeah,
it was,
and it's those events as well, isn't it? Imagine being 15 or 16, getting back to Valentine's again. That age where you start courting, start going on dates and that kind of thing. To have missed out on those vital years.
At least knowing other people are,
Yeah.
Could
have had a big effect on them. No, I'm just wondering about how hypnotherapy could benefit people in terms of relationships. That's what just got me thinking this week. With it being Valentine's Day.
I've never had anybody come to me for the particular relationship that they're still in, but I have had recently being like a couple of years, not yesterday. But you've done quite a lot with people who've lost family members one way or another. Yeah,
or life change when people have taken retirement. And again, the relationship suddenly taken a different turn, as it were. For example, two people who were always out at work suddenly find themselves all at home with each other all the time, and life is very different.
Actually, the way Valentine's affects my clients at the moment is most of them at the moment are coming to me because of that. It's a new year, so new resolutions. So a lot of people wanting to lose weight or go to the gym more or whatever reason. And here we have this huge celebration of eating chocolate.
Yeah.
I love you. Have some. I love chocolate. Please don't get me wrong. I absolutely adore good chocolate. But it is a bit odd.
That we do just wonder why you mentioned New Year then, because it was Chinese New Year last week.
It was, because clients called me at New Year and they're fully in their sessions.
Hung Ye Fat Choi, if we have any Chinese viewers.
Oh, very good. I can't do that, I'm afraid. Yeah.
So just getting back on topic a minute then. No, just thinking about sort of using hypnotherapy. Let's create a scenario of somebody who might typically come and see us then. Perhaps they've lost the confidence in knowing how to engage with other people, form relationships. One thing I particularly like about using hypnotherapy is when people sort of tap into resources they've not used for years. That's what I think is particularly useful.
But I think that's why they get anxious, because they sort of have to actually remember the things they will need to do. Whereas they haven't had to think about, it's Saturday, we go shopping for groceries now.
Right. Oh, so that overwhelm of thinking, I've got to do this again, got to do that again. Yeah. Well, and again, hypnotherapy can help cope with that, can't it?
Yeah. It can cope with, it helps with just about anything, really. If you need to get out of what is currently your comfort zone, it can help you do it.
Well, that's one thing hypnotherapy is particularly useful for, is taking somebody just enough out of that comfort zone to motivate, just generate enough stress and just motivate them to do a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, rather than that thing of falling over a cliff edge when we've suddenly got to do something big.
Yeah. We both of us work slowly but effectively. What's the average amount of time that your clients take to get over, if they have one specific issue? How long do they usually stay with you?
Anything between 6 and 12 sessions.
Okay. The only 12 session thing is the half sessions is a weight program, because it doesn't matter how effective that first session is, it's still going to take some time for you to see a difference on the scale. So I always stretch it so they've got support through that whole time. Yeah,
to me, with weight clients, it's a matter of when they get to the point where they are automatically, without thinking, just reaching for the better options, reaching for the right choices. Because like when people are struggling with the weight, when they eat a lot of processed foods and a lot of sugary foods, they will still veer towards those because they taste good, let's face it.
Yeah. And it's the way they've been comforting themselves for so long.
Yeah, but it's also the way our taste buds have been altered by all the MSG and everything else they put into it. We're attracted to that kind of food more and more. Once you've got over to fresher food, less processed food, and you got through that thing of thinking I'm on a diet, because you're not. Once you've got through all that, and
you're eating that which you habitually eat.
Yeah,
I get over this calling it diet is what you normally eat. A slimming diet, a get thinner diet, whatever, a weight loss diet. Yes, let's get rid of them. Let's have just healthy food for people.
Yeah, absolutely. But once you've got to that point where you are eating better food all the time, then the next stage is that you just automatically prefer that. You stop having that feeling of missing out on something. Once you're at that point, then you know you're through the line, as it were. You've won. Because if you're in any kind of deprivation, or if you're in the mindset of being deprived of something, then all the time you will consciously be feeling that you're missing out on eating all the unhealthy things that you used to eat. You need to get past that to the point where it's like, no, actually, this is my preference now. This is what I prefer. This is what I like. And that's what
this is what my body needs.
When you go to a great big buffet, you will automatically veer towards the things that are better for you. Right. Once you're at that stage, then you're okay. That's what I always say. Otherwise,
when you do weight loss, do people come with you with they've really got a serious issue, or is it just I think I might be developing an issue?
Usually it's last resort, grossly overweight issue. Usually it's people that have tried every fad diet going, they've been to every kind of slimming club going, they've done all the usual things, and they'll try hypnotherapy as a last resort. And let's face it, it's quite so often the case with most things, isn't it? Hypnotherapy.
Well, because we haven't explained to people how it is not alternative medicine. It's just part of the things that you could put in place to make your life easier.
But it's because of all the stigma and because of all the myths about it, though. It's so often the place of last resort. It's like, I've tried everything else now, I might as well give that a try. That's the attitude of a lot of people. Okay, so let me just think about something else in terms of Valentine's relationships and hypnotherapy.
Flowers.
Flowers, yeah. What about conflict resolution? Hypnotherapy for conflict resolution?
Yes, I think it probably is useful, but I don't know. I mean, normally conflict resolution, you'd have both people there in the room at the same time. And I don't do two people for hypnosis at the same time.
No.
Would it be like other couples therapy? So you have couples therapy and individual therapy.
Yeah, no, I'm talking of individual therapy, though. Perhaps helping somebody to, okay, put it this way. If you're in a relationship with a lot of conflict, okay, you're going to be pretty stressed out. And when we're stressed out, everything gets magnified, doesn't it? Everything.
True, but now what kind of conflict are you talking about?
We're not talking violence. We're talking about when people start
or other forms of abuse. No.
I'm talking more, perhaps a little lighter than that, where people are just at the point where they're just getting on each other's nerves with everything they say and do.
Oh, because things are like people who are newly retired and suddenly
Yeah.
you're in my space at 9 a.m. Go away.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah. I think again, it's a good way to help stop those negative thought cycles, because if once you get it in your head that somebody is annoying you or is going to annoy you, then that's what you'll concentrate
You
on.
wake up already annoyed.
Yeah, you wake up ready to look for faults. And I think again, if we use that soothing and calming side of hypnotherapy, to bring somebody right down where they can take an overview of things and perhaps not be so reactionary to things. It can be helpful in that way, in any kind of conflicts, even in a work conflict or something like that.
Does that be more aligned with anger management?
Yeah, but I think it's a gentler and kinder way of dealing with things. I think it's more practical than just regular anger management.
I think it would probably not garner many clients as a first introduction to hypnosis. I could see somebody who's come to you before for another reason, thinking, oh, maybe this, and then calling you. I don't know how. I suppose I could write in my blog and say, what do people feel about conflict resolution? And anybody who's listening to us blathering on, please tell us what you think about this. Get some feedback.
Well, yeah, I mean, it can help improve communication skills, can't it, hypnotherapy? Help people identify the strengths and feel more confident, perhaps, when they need to state the boundaries in a relationship, for example.
Yeah.
In any kind of relationship. You can give people the confidence to do that, perhaps, as I say, if somebody's lacking in self-confidence.
I think many of us who work in this area sort of look forward to a time that actually will teach kids these skills when they're very little. And we can almost get rid of hypnotists. We can just, people will just know how to use this very useful time to relax. Those tricks of the trade. Yeah. No more driving test anxiety, because you already know how to handle anxiety.
Driving test anxiety, yeah. I saw somebody for that not too long ago, actually. That's a different thing altogether, isn't it? That's what I call acute anxiety. One particular situation that's forthcoming, and usually it's things like driving tests, public speaking, best man speeches at weddings.
Oh yes, public speaking in general, but best man. It's going to be recorded for posterity.
Oh yeah, of course. In this day and age, if people have the fear of making the mistake at a wedding, now they've got the fear of it being recorded and held forever as well.
And put on a reel.
And put out on the internet. No, but it's just that general thing about relationships altogether, isn't it? And then you were saying earlier on as well about not just Valentine's, but other things that you term as holidays, as it were, or occasional days.
Things that you normally celebrated with somebody in particular. It could be your lover, it could be husband, wife, brother, whoever is suddenly absent from your life.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you say, holidays are the times when things become noticeable, aren't they? Yeah. It's funny that with grief, it's always the first year after you've lost somebody.
And the 10th year, and it's those milestones.
Yeah, but in the first year in particular, whatever day it is,
it's the
you
first
will always
day
remember what they were doing that same day last year, last Easter, last Christmas, last Valentine's, last whatever. You'll always remember what you were doing with that person the year before. So they do say, don't they, the first year is the most difficult one.
Oh, it is, yeah. But it's still, depending on how close your relationship was, it can take a long time before you don't automatically turn to talk to that person.
Well, yeah, and again, you see, of course, we do things automatically out of habit, don't we? And we do it automatically, subconsciously, without thinking about it first. Anything we do without thinking about it first, whether it's which shoe do we put our feet first? Yeah. Or do they even match? That's a whole other story.
Oh, yeah. Someday Martin will tell you about his shoes.
But there's a lot of things we do subconsciously, and those are the things that we can change with hypnotherapy really easily. So that you automatically do something else instead.
there's also the fact that once your new reality has become a new reality and you suddenly are brought back to remember the person, often people feel guilty because they didn't feel bad on that particular day.
Yeah,
It can
well,
get quite,
that's another one of those fears, though, isn't it? It's like if I don't think about them, I might just forget them.
yeah,
That's
that
a
they've
fear.
disappeared from, yeah.
Yeah, like they never existed, sort of thing. That's
Particularly, I think that when a parent survives longer than a child, to lose a
yeah,
child is a particularly bad one. And every single thing going forward, you're going to remember you don't have that person with you.
yeah, because that's just not the natural order of things, is it? It's not the
Well,
natural
yeah, we
order.
say that, but yet it is.
Is
You
it?
know, before the early part of the last century, it was not at all uncommon. Antibiotics did a huge amount to help people stay
Oh,
living longer.
yeah,
Children
absolutely. Yeah, of
often,
course.
yeah,
Yeah, of course.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, we only need to look back in history, don't we? What was it? In Victorian times, the death rate, infant mortality rate was
it was
really
huge.
high.
I can't remember.
If
Yeah,
you had a family of
but so
5 kids, you'd lose one, wouldn't you, on average, I think it was.
at least, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, if scarlet fever went through, you'd lose all of them. I mean, that whole aspect of my life, worrying about children getting vaccinated and antibiotics being given appropriately, is
Mm.
we're very concerned really right now about what's going to happen with the antibiotic overuse having given us superbugs.
Well, there's some new antibiotics now, the
Um,
first ones that have been developed in 20 years or something, were on the news the other day. So hopefully they'll be able to deal with these super bugs.
yes, but still, don't stop doing sensible things like washing our hands.
Yeah.
Anyway, or cooking food properly.
Yeah.
Can don't wing it when you're canning for the first time. Please read the instructions. It's very important. This is a very weird podcast. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I keep trying to bring it back on topic.
I know it's just not natural to us.
No.
Do you go to town on Valentine's Day, or is it just another day when you say, do you get a card, or do
Yeah,
you
we
go
don't.
out for
We don't.
special dinner? Don't do anything in particular.
No, well, that's what I say. I popped down to Sainsbury's. I bought some steak. I brought everything else to make a nice meal for tomorrow night. I've been and bought some roses and stashed them in the cupboard under the stairs where it's cool and dark. And that's me done, because it's just nice to mark the day. Otherwise, you just take it
Oh,
just for
yeah.
granted completely, don't you?
Right. And so any day, I think that's the thing that hypnosis can help people. It can make any day special. I don't mean
Oh,
because you're getting hypnotized. I mean, you can have people realize how exciting it is that you woke up this morning.
yeah. Well,
You've won. Yeah.
yeah. Well, that's funny actually. That is something. When I first started studying therapy, how it actually can bring you right down and get to the part where you suddenly realize, wow, each day is a new day. There's a lot I can do,
Yeah.
because it's so easy in the humdrum routine of normal daily life to just like wake up every day and here we go again.
Yeah. And there's the thing that's actually part of the way you were taught hypnosis, which is to have people remember at the end of every day what good, minor, but good things happened.
Yeah, it's the smallest things that are the best ones. It's I mean, no doubt you can give the technical term for it, but I always say you generate a little hit of feel good as you start to delve back
Oh,
through
yeah.
your mind
Dopamine.
to to think about anything good that happened that day, whether it was just somebody with a miserable face holding a shop door open for you and smiling when you didn't expect it.
Or a little kid waving at you.
Yeah, or somebody ringing up and saying, "Grandma, thank you for that, it was beautiful."
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's all those little things that make us feel good. And it's true, though, when you look back through your mind and think about them, it's the same. When you think back to a funny story, you'll suddenly smile automatically, won't you? Or have a little giggle to yourself. If
Right.
you remember some time, I don't know, one of your children embarrassed you, or you embarrassed one of your children or something like that, and it brings a smile on your face. We're generating those feelings, aren't we? And
Right.
it's amazing when you start to really study how you can regenerate these feelings.
And it's those memories that help people when they are getting over their grief, when they can look back at the fact that that person was in their life and made a difference at that point, and then it begins to become less painful that they're not there anymore, because as we know, time is only a physical thing. It's not a next world thing. But
No.
well, we won't get too philosophical. It's beyond
No,
our
no.
educational scope. But yeah, I really like that. I try to remind myself that do have 2 or 3 issues that I have people keep a diary for. It's not usually mandatory, but try and remember that to tell them, to think of, look back quick in the last 24 hours, what good thing just happened.
Yeah, I insist on it with every single one. And it's the most difficult thing. It's the one thing most people find difficult until they have a light bulb moment.
Exactly. Yes. It's difficult until they accept the premise.
Yeah.
Then they're fine.
Yeah, that's it. But it's true, isn't it? You think about it. If you remember something that made you laugh at some point, you can actually laugh again. And it's just those tiny, I call them little wins that we get all through the day, throughout the day. Like for me, when I'm driving, if I'm waiting to turn right, and I've been waiting ages, and then some kind soul flashes me so I can turn right. You get a feel good. And it's those little moments we all have throughout the day, but when we're so worn down with life, when things are so on top of us, we fail to fully appreciate the moments. That's why we need to think back through them and remember the good things. Otherwise, we just go to bed with all the negative things from the day in our head.
It's also one of the reasons that hypnosis doesn't use reliving the trauma of whatever it is that's upset you. Obviously, we need to take a history initially so we know what has affected you, but then you don't have to go back and relive it every day.
No, we don't want to dwell on it. Because anything you concentrate on, you'll amplify. So why?
So think of those positive things that have happened.
Yeah, absolutely. I say it all the time, and as I say, most people find that the most difficult part of therapy, writing down those 3 good things each night. Until, as I say, until we've done it a few times, and all of a sudden one day it was like, oh yeah, and this happened. And then they really start to tell you about it, and then right.
I think many people would recognize that the good things had happened, that they liked it, but they're sort of embarrassed to say, well, I got really happy when a little kid blew me a kiss. That sort of thing. They feel like it's not important enough. And many people, when they go into various forms of therapy, psychological therapy, CBT, initially they're hesitant to say why they're unhappy, because there are so many people who are worse off.
Oh yeah.
And you need to get past that is true always. There will always be somebody that's worse off, but that doesn't mean you can't feel better than you feel now.
No, absolutely. But
that's who is in the room right now.
This is about getting that empathy, isn't it?
We'll give you a break, people. You can turn off now. Thank you very much. Please write to us and tell us what you'd like to hear us blathering on about. And please tell us if there's a particular issue that you need help with, even if you don't want to see either of us. We know a lot of other hypnotists, and we'd be happy to help you figure out what kind of therapy would be the best fit for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So in the meantime, I'll say ta-ta for this week, and we'll see you on the next one.
All right, dear. Bye.
We hope you've enjoyed listening. Please remember, this podcast is designed to give you an insight into therapeutic hypnosis and is for educational purposes only. So remember, consult with your own healthcare professional if you think something you've heard may apply to you or a loved one.
If you found this episode useful, you can apply for free continuing professional development or CME credits using the link provided in the show notes. Feel free to contact either of us through the links in the show notes. Join us again next week.